Hi, it's me, Carrie Silver Lining Mena, and I just got done talking on this video for about 30 minutes, and I can't see the screen very well because I got old eyeballs because my new long story. Anyway, I can't see very well, and then I realized that I was not recording. Oops. So this is a new computer. I'm unable to hook up my pink microphone, but it doesn't work that well anyway. Remember all the robots and shit? Eric says it's from my pink microphone. So I'm just using the computer's microphone, so I apologize for the sound. Um, Anyway, hi, it's me, Carrie Silver Lining Men. I haven't been here in several months. I have some things to share with you. It always ends up being more than I think it is. Let's start with my hair. Still not really sure what to do with it. I just keep flopping it around. And look how cute my nails are. It is Pride Month. I finally did something gay. And let me tell you about the nails real quick, because these are Halloween nails, so they just stick on real quick. They don't last very long. If one falls off, I got spares right here. And I can't do any of my fancier nails. By fancy, I mean like more permanent, because my hands, um, the skin on my fingers is better, a lot better actually, but my fingertips have gone to shit. My fingernails in particular, they're just peeling off. They're lifting from like this side like that. And half my nails are like completely peeled off, or not completely, but a lot of it is peeled off. And the other half, I noticed just last night that there's like liquid underneath it. And because my nails, they're not even paper thin, they're like skin thin. So I just poked it with the tweezer, and water, like infected water liquid, came out of it. So I made an appointment with a dermatologist today. So I'm still having issues with my hands, but it's better. Although this is a new one. I've never had like my fingernails peel off to this extent and then like liquid underneath them. I guess I can't wash dishes for a while. So right now I am still in the process of getting my physical health taken care of. I have appointments lined up, dermatologist. I have a physical coming up. I have my mammogram coming up, and I'm old now. I got to get a colonoscopy. My grandma died from ass cancer, so I can't fuck around with this. So that's coming up too. What else? Oh, I don't know. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out if I'm in menopause. I might be. I have the polycystic ovary, so I've never had a consistent period, but I haven't had one in a long, long time. And maybe that's part of the reason that I have like, you know, anxiety, mood issues, I guess. I don't know. My fibromyalgia is doing better. The doctors have me on medication, so I'm doing better with that. But I think that there's room for improvement. I still find myself stressed, like I just, and I don't know why it is. And then, of course, the hands. So something's still going on, but I'm much better. My kids are doing much better. Josh finished his program called PEERS, PEERS, which is an acronym for something else, and it is where it was like a 14-week course where the kids would go in this room and the parents would go over here, and we just talk. It was just like a support group. It was okay, but the kids did a bunch of like exercises on how to be more social and how to enter a conversation, how to deal with bullies, and how to just whatever, it's social stuff. And not only that, he got invited to what do you call it, interview in a program at the local college, and it's for neurodivergent thinkers. And I'm so grateful for this. Many years ago, he got the message that in the future, he will meet with like minds and get the help he needs. So not only was that peer group very good for him, but this other thing, now he's got a whole brand new college program, which has been in effect for only a couple years, but the past couple years have not been normal in the world. So I anticipate that this might be like the first year that this particular program gets to blossom. And even though it's a 2-year, associate's degree, it's an associate's degree, but it's going to take him 4 years. They just have this program drawn out, and they have all the classes set up already. So he'll be doing it with other, the same group of kids, more or less. And when he's done, he'll have an associate's in, I forgot what it's called, but the neurodivergent program, blah, blah, blah. So he will have some knowledge, some understanding of how that particular thing works. Not to mention he'll have some certificate in business, and the program will help him find a job, provide an internship for him, and do what they can to help him make his way in the world. I'm so happy for him. And now employers are starting to, get a clue that perhaps we want these kinds of individuals working for our company, because they're not the social kind that are yip yapping over at the water cooler. They're the kind that really, they like repetition, and they want to put out good work, and whatever it is, they just don't interview well. So if you can get over like the standard interview process, then you might hook yourself up with a really good employee. And so employers are realizing this, and they're connecting with the college to help find jobs for these kids. I'm so excited for him. I'm so grateful for him to have this opportunity. I think he's going to thrive. Even since he was a little kid, he's gravitated to alternative thinkers. He had a friend when he was in elementary school who had Down syndrome, and they were like best buddies. And Josh, he's I don't know if it's left or right, or if there's a color or high or low or whatever, but that autism thing is a big old spectrum. So he's like on that end where he's very socially awkward but extremely intelligent. He knows way too much about way too many things. He's just like this sponge. He has this plethora of information. Some of it's pointless, but some of it can really help him in the world. He's so cute. He'll be like, "Bye, Mom, I'm going to go learn about orangutans now." And he'll skip over to the office, and he watches this program, this YouTube channel called Orangutan School, where the orangutans that can't live in the wild, they learn to, they get rehabilitated in this jungle. It's so funny. And just the fact that he skips over there and he's enthusiastic about it. He's such an interesting kid. Anyway, good for him. Last year, me and him and, my daughter were all fucked up with our mental health issues, and the three of us got our shit together. Now the three of us, Bug and I had to eat unrestricted for a long time, and now she got really grossed out on herself the other day, and I've been doing it too. I went back to binging behavior. There's a reason for that, but I'll explain in a minute. But we're all wanting to get into we're done with this shit. We want to. And Josh, in his own way, he didn't have the eating disorder, but he just ate a bunch of crap all the time, because sometimes that's what teenagers do. And he was a very fussy eater. I tried to force things on him, but I just gave up. I'm like, "Here, have another package of top ramen. I know it's your favorite." He's very independent. He eats what he wants to eat. So at least I don't have to cook for him all the time. Thank you. But he mentioned, this is so interesting because Spirit said it too, that he would get into weightlifting, and he has this great gym at his new college, and I can sign up. I have to pay $25 a semester to go to this Mac Daddy gym. So he invited me to come work out with him. I don't know how many teenage sons invite their moms to come work out with him, but I was so touched. I'm like, I got the best kids ever, the best family. Not so much that I want to go work out, I know, but I need to. But he asked me. That's so sweet. So the three of us, I think that we're on the same wavelength. We do it in our own ways, our own contexts, but we'll see what's next. So I wanted to talk about my next. I talked about my health, all the shit I gotta do. But I finally figured out what's next for me and my body. And I've said this many times that you probably know this. It's all over the internet. If you're on some healing journey, I can't even see my hair because even my eyeballs are fucked up. Hair, are you doing okay? Okay, so you cannot heal from a trauma unless you are back in the vibration of that trauma. And sometimes, trauma sounds huge, right? Blood and guts, trauma. When you think of I don't know, fire truck TV show. But trauma, I feel can be any kind of bullshit that the world dumped on you that inhibits you to live to your maximum potential. So even though my weight issues are not especially traumatic, I have PTSD, I had so much crap dumped on me to make myself feel bad about myself. I had so much shame about being overweight. And that sucks because The reason I'm overweight is not because I'm a bad and horrible person. There are circumstances, there are reasons that that my body is the way it is. Like I have a scar from on my belly because I had C-sections. I have a scar on my backside because I just had a tumor removed, or a cluster of cysts. I probably will just call it a tumor. So there's reasons. And even though my fat isn't necessarily a scar, it is a product of the circumstances that I've been in, not only because of um, the health issue I was born with, which is the polycystic ovaries, but because of the diet culture, all that shame. I can't. So I had to put on all this weight back on, and I had to feel that shame. And I was especially frustrated after losing so much weight and feeling so beautiful. Really thought I was going to be a cougar. I thought that was the next in my life. Nope. I went from being, a cougar on my way to, flying around the world with young men, to going right back to where I was before all this shit started. A big chubby housewife. Oh, mom. So I had to not necessarily love myself, but learn to accept myself. And it took a long time, but I finally did. I was like, how am I going to love myself? How am I going to love myself? And once I realized it's not necessarily love, I don't need to love my body, but I could still love me despite the scar, despite the physical manifestation of that trauma or that false belief or whatever it is. So now that I've come to accept myself as I am and realize this isn't my fault, I have nothing to be ashamed of. But just because I have those words and that understanding and that belief doesn't mean I have to love myself the way I am. In fact, I realized very recently that my last reading I had with Michelle back in October, November, the guides were telling me, remember Melchizedek from the Bible, or maybe it's Eric, I don't know, saying that now the magic starts. Well, I kept trying to figure out what the magic was, and I thought it was about like traveling, really finding a way back to my 20, but traveling in general because I really love it. But my kids are still, I'm still on standby for my kids. Josh doesn't have his license yet. I got to start driving him to college, which is okay because remember, there's that $25 gym. Um, so, uh, 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 so the magic was, what is the magic? What is the magic? It just popped into my head the other day. Carrie, the magic that you are to create is you. You get to create you. So I've spent all this time on doing like the repeat of Mariana and then Carrie. Mariana was the strong, dominant energy for all those years. So it was mostly her, but again, I created circumstances in my own life that were similar, so that when her consciousness fell into me, those thought patterns were already there. So I was kind of doing double time, but she was the dominant one, and she was fucked up. So, oh fuck, where was I going with this? I forgot. Hang on, let me get it back. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, I realized that the magic is recreating me. And I'm not happy the way I am. I accept the reasons why I'm here, but I don't have to stay here. I don't have to stay here. Eric told me this a long time ago that, you don't have to stay where you're at. And I didn't get that. I was like, how the fuck do I love myself for who I am, yet still desire to be somebody else? It didn't make any sense. But again, it wasn't loving myself for who it is. I love myself despite the trauma layer of flesh. And months ago, I was like, how am I going to lose weight if I'm not going to diet? Because I was like, I'm not dieting ever again. Fuck you, fuck you. I was so pissed off at Rob Lowe for trying to sell me, chocolate flavored chemicals in the disguise of health and nutrition. That made me so mad. I was way over here in my pendulum of learning. And now, before that I was way over here and I was all about, not necessarily Rob Lowe, but keto. Way over, and I had such success. Then I rejected it. Now I'm at that balance. And even though I had considered this plan months ago, I rejected it because my motivation, I wasn't there yet. My motivation to go back to keto was to lose weight. And now it sort of is, but it has nothing to do with diet culture bullshit. But I have learned and I have reprogrammed and I have come to understand that I need to eat foods that, because when I was on that unrestricted, I ate so much sugar. I made peace with food. I did it all, whatever I wanted, and it really worked because I don't really have a desire to do that anymore, except probably on a special occasion. You go to the sushi buffet, you're gonna just shove all that sushi in your mouth, yummy. But but even though I had considered and rejected the idea of doing keto before because I wasn't in the right space, I'm like Googling and trying to search, what is going to work for me? How am I going to get back? And I tried some things. I started making myself shakes and I put in all of this like anti-inflammatory turmeric and some spirulina. Is that how you say it? And kale and cilantro with all of my antioxidant berries and a little bit of plain yogurt. So I was making these shakes and I was feeling a little bit better. But I wasn't going to lose weight. I'm already just like this. So anyway, Googling and Googling and Googling, I found that one of the articles, and I know I wasn't allowed to see this until it was time, said that the keto diet is really, really good for people in my specific situation. I do need to lose weight for my health. My body hurts. It's hard for me to walk up the stairs. I'm too big. And the foods I was eating before, I'm binging a little bit right now because I know I'm going to start keto soon. I think that's why my hands are a little bit yucky again. My body started to hurt again. I'm just dealing with it, because I want to eat, because I know how much of a challenge keto is. So anyway, it said that people in my circumstance, keto is good until you take the weight off, but it is not sustainable. And that's what I needed to hear. I needed that permission slip to say that people with polycystic ovaries that have insulin resistance, that are overweight, that are experiencing the pains of, fibromyalgia, inflammation, whatever it is, this is a very good solution. Once you drop off that weight, then I intend to change it up again. And I'm not sure what I'll do. I've never been real good at like following a plan, like a specific plan, recipes, and, quarter cup of this, whatever. But I'll figure out what to do because, again, I cannot fail. So I get to create my magic. I've done all kinds of fixing, repairing, spackling, putting back together. I'm all put back together. Now I get to create me. Listen to the couple of things that I've manifested. I just fucking love these stories. I'm only going to remember a couple of them, though. That's so sad. Okay, because I've had so many of them recently, like amazing ones. But here's like the most specific ones that I can't even believe the universe provided with me. So I went shopping because remember I found the shirt. I wanted to find a skirt, more specifically a skirt, because I am not a lady and I need shorts underneath so that I don't, I don't pull a Sharon Stone. So I walk into TJ Maxx and I'm telling the universe, you know what? I want a skirt, but I don't want to pay more than $20 for it. I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to pay more than $15 for it. And I have this skirt that I had for a few years ago, and I tried to pull it on the other day, and I just couldn't get it up past my thighs, and I was so sad. Well, it was pink. I found a white skirt that it was exactly like it, probably made by the same people, all by itself, hanging in the plus size section. And I picked it up, and the size on it, there's no way that based on the tag number. But I held it up to me, and I was like, maybe. So I go into the dressing room, and sure enough, that motherfucker fit. It just like the other one, but of course bigger. Guess how much that thing was? $14.99. The white skirt that I asked for, under $15, there it is. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. And I did it again, too, because the other thing that I'm not happy with, and I don't even think you can see, let me come up really close. Look, I've been experimenting with makeup. With my eyelash on. I've been putting fake lashes on. Okay, wait. Hang on. Stop on my computer. Okay, so right here. Oops, no, I'm opposite. Right here I have a bump on my eye. Maybe you can see it there. I don't know. Anyway, I'm like genetically predisposed to having like big luggage under my eyeballs, and one's worse than the other. I don't know if I have like a burst vessel or something. I have no idea. But my dad, he's much older than me, he's got big old suitcases. I don't want suitcases. And I'm not, I had to face like getting old like in an instant because remember I was on this path of thinner and beautifuler and cougar. So I thought I was going like in this one direction, and then for it to like halt and reverse almost instantly, I was like, whoa. So I had to really make peace with it because I didn't really feel like a teenage girl anymore, and I wasn't getting more beautiful. I went backwards, which really was frontwards because I aged so much so quickly, and it really brought me down. So not only did I have to deal with the size of my body, I had to deal with the age seeping into my face. But again, it's the same thing. I mean, it's not diet culture, but maybe youth culture. I don't know what to call it. But I had to deal with that. That one wasn't as hard. So one of the things, I'm like, you know what, I have enough money. I'm gonna create something. I'm gonna go do some beauty shit. And I did go get a facial one time, but I looked great, but all that does is just lotion and whatever hydration, and it poofs you up for a couple days. That's not enough. So I started to investigate all of the beauty things you can do. And I'm not going under the knife. I'm not getting a facelift. Ask me again in 10 or 15 years, I might change my mind. I'm not getting fillers. Same thing. That grosses me out after getting that tumor, which help me remember to talk about that. After taking that tumor, I don't want like fake things. I don't want injections. I don't want Botox. I don't want fillers. But I did learn about something called microneedling, and it's when like you're basically like stabbed with teeny tiny needles, and what it does is create trauma in your skin, and your skin goes, oh no, trauma, we must heal, let's produce collagen, and the collagen plumps up. So all it does is stimulate your body's natural way of plumping back up. But that shit's expensive, and you need a few sessions for that. So I'm like, okay, universe, you know I'm cheap. You know I'm fucking cheap. And all of the stuff online, I mean, I really researched this. All the stuff online says don't use a Groupon because they're just like, they want you in and out. And they're cheap and, fucked up, and they'll ruin you. Mostly they said that so that, we would pay full price at their salon. But some of the Groupons were those salons. So I'd like cross-check and verify with online ratings, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, bottom line, I got $100 micro needling session on, I'm sorry, 150. It was on sale for $80, but because I hadn't bought a Groupon in so long, Groupon said, here, we're going to give you $50 to welcome you back. So my $150 Groupon was like $38. I couldn't believe it. I haven't done it yet, but this particular, spa, whatever it is, it's just down the street from me. It was the closest one. And anyway, I'm so excited about that. So I get to be a little bit younger with my micro needling, and if I like it, I'll pay for full price for the rest of the sessions if it works, because the universe totally is hooking me up with money. I have no idea how much money I have. I only know that I always have more than enough. That's my mindset. I always have more than enough, and that's the truth. I always have more than enough. My husband's the same way. He's very, we used to be so tight with our money. Thankfully for us is that of all the fights we have, we've never really fought over money. And as you know, that could be a real like source of contention between couples. Let me touch on my husband before I go to the tumor. Oh, and real quickly, let me go back to Josh. I would love very much if he chose a career in helping people with neurodivergent thinking. Speaking of that, I got a message from Sheila Marie Wright online in one of her, live channeling she does, and she said that Layla will get into nursing, and she wasn't sure what that meant. She said possibly psychiatric nursing, and that makes sense. I don't know about nursing so much or whatever, but you often people often choose careers based on their past experience. So she would be a great candidate to help people with, mental health issues, especially focused in eating disorders and the mentality that went with that. So I'd be very proud of her if she went in that direction. That'd be awesome. Thank you, Sheila, for that message. Okay, so back to me and my husband. We are still fighting the good fight. Same thing. And I don't understand this entirely. Why are we still fighting about the same thing? Now, Eric said that we were like bouncing the ball back and forth to each other. And each time we did, the ball changed, meaning, we're working at our traumas, this, that, and the other one. But I feel like it's been like the same one over and over and over again. And I keep trying to do things differently because I understand about patterns. If you keep doing it the same way and you keep getting the same result and you don't like that result, then change things up. So I've been trying to, but it just still goes back to the same thing. And that is the trauma of him accusing me of things I haven't done. And I think the reverse of that is him getting yelled at. And I gotta say that most of the time, he really does start it with his bullshit. He does. I mean, I can walk away, so maybe I start it for calling him out on his bullshit. But he's like, "Now you're yelling at me," and I'm like, "Don't give me a reason to yell." And I don't yell at first, but he gaslights and pushes my buttons to the max. Still, so apparently we still need this experience. I really I don't want to get my buttons pushed anymore. So I feel like, I don't know. What do you think? If I'm aware of the trauma, I'm aware of where it stemmed from because my mom totally cyberbullied me after my brother died and blamed me for not saving him. She called me a fraud. I'm no spiritual healer. My magic rocks didn't do anything. I mean, she really laid into me. And that's what made me realize, God, she's the one that created this trauma in me for being blamed for things I haven't done. And my husband does it all the time still. And something this little can piss me the fuck off. So, but I wonder that even though I know what it is, I know why, I know what I want to do, I'm still unable to. So is it like almost like having a stain in your shirt? And I know what the stain was from. I know how to wash my clothes. But then when I do it, the stain's still there. Do I just need to keep washing that same stain out over and over? Am I just like shedding the same trauma? Because it doesn't feel like a different one. I don't know. Am I still scrubbing out my stain with him? I remember one time Bashar said something like, learn sooner. And I want so much to learn sooner. And it's so stupid. I know I'm a Mac Daddy energy healer. I've like considered recently of doing some energy healing, cutting cords and just doing some magic to try to end this shit between he and I. Why haven't I tried that sooner? I don't know. I don't know why I don't have the faith. Or that's not that I don't have the faith. It's like, does that really, I don't know. I don't know. Why don't I ever do it with my own issues? I don't know. Okay, so my husband and I, we do have more peace, and me more than him realizes that what we're doing together is like, I feel grateful to have somebody to rid myself of my traumas with. I mean, that's one way I found gratitude. I always try to find the silver linings. And as much as I hate fighting with him, I get that I need to. I still have shit going on. He does too. And I realize this, but he doesn't. Not all the time. So whereas I'm like, grow, what can you learn from this? He's like, you're such a bitch, So I'm trying to like figure it out so I could be done with it. And he's not always like that. He doesn't do the inner work I do. I do the inner work for both of us. I text it to him and maybe he figures it out. I don't know. Okay, so now let me go to my tumor. Let me go to the 20s. First of all, let me start with another dream visit I had from Michael. I ask all the time, please let me have a dream. Please let me have a dream. Please come visit me in my dream. So this one was, I was leading a group of people. I feel like I was giving them a tour of like a house. Maybe it was where we were having, I don't know who he is, an event. And in this small group of people, as I'm like, and this is where, we'll do that, and this is where we'll do that. Whatever I was saying or doing, Michael was in this group. And I just really avoided making eye contact with him or acknowledging him, or maybe just a quick eye contact with him like I did everybody else. I just had to shut it off. But then when I was done talking and leading the group, I walked over to him and I put out my hand and I said, hi, I'd like to introduce myself to you. I don't think we've met. My name is Carrie. And he said that his name was Michael. And I go, it's nice to meet you. And then, he kind of knew what I meant, meaning that I'm like a new me. He didn't know the extent of it. I don't know if he knows entirely about Mariana, that it was, she was a walk-in. I don't know. But in this dream, after I shook his hand, I let go with that hand and I grabbed his hand and I led him into another room. I closed the door and I just immediately went to hugging him, and we just hugged and hugged and hugged. And that was the end of my dream. All of my dreams are just hugging and holding him, and it was so sweet. I didn't have to go back outside and have a bunch of bugs and spiders on the street to get back to him. Remember that dream? That was a hug dream too. Lots of hug dreams from him, and I understand now that on some level they're real. So I really savor them, and I think about them every day for long periods of time. I'm still sometimes I'm very much in love with him. Other times I just love him, but it never goes away. And hang on, I'm gonna go back to him in a sec. But with Fairy Boy, remember when Michelle, I tried to get her to like pry into his energy, and she tried, and all she got was like blank, like he had his back to us. And that's actually what happened in real life, because I don't know if you remember, but I said I wrote a long letter. I told him about Mariana and why I was so hypersexual and pathetic, and he never wrote me back. He just let it go, like he had his back turned to me. And then his profile picture was gone, and it was just, the generic gray person. And that made me really sad. And I wasn't sure if he like deactivated his account, closed his account, just removed his picture, or blocked me. And even though I understood that whatever he did, it was him and not me, one of those choices was a little bit more me than the rest of them. And it hurt my feelings to think that he possibly ditched me. And but what can I do? I was to free myself of that, so it didn't devastate me by any stretch, but it did bum me out. So like not too long ago, he put a new picture, and it's just of some sports team. I don't even know which one. And I got so happy to learn that it wasn't me. And well, I say so happy, but it was happy, but it wasn't like overjoyed or anything. And I remember thinking to myself, God, if I feel this good about realizing I wasn't like, you know, dropped from this guy's contact list, imagine how thrilled I'm going to be when Michael comes back to me. And I couldn't even imagine it. I still believe Michael will come back to me. And I say come back to me because I don't know. I just feel like that's what's next. He has to come knock on my door. I'm the one that had to let him go. And if I ever feel prompted to go and message him, I will, but I don't think that's the way it goes. So let me go back to Michael. Oh, and Fairy Boy, I don't know how I feel about him. I don't know. Whatever. I wish that we could have some kind of contact at some point. It feels unfinished, but that's the way things are sometimes. They're unfinished. It could be finished by being unfinished. I don't know. Okay, so Michael, back up to years ago, maybe 2014. I don't know, but I remember I noticed the tumor, the growth in my bum years ago, right around the time that I met him, and when Mariana's consciousness dropped into my body. And I remember asking Fairy Girl one time, should I get it removed? And she said, you can, but you don't have to. Just keep an eye on it. And if it becomes troublesome, you can always have it removed later. Well, I think that that was her way of, assuring me that it's okay and planting the seed. Just let it go. I really believe, well, I don't really believe. I believe it's possible that all the garbage, all of the bullshit that I endured and freed myself of and, transmuted during Mariana manifested in this tumor. And when it came out, it really did look like, it was such an odd shape. I made it look like a puppy. I drew on it and I called it my alien puppy. But what's interesting, I made a post about this, is that Michael was such an odd person to me. He was just so unusual. He's just not normal. I'm just kidding. But he is. And if he ever saw this, he will know what I mean. He's just not. He's an unusual person. I don't know, whatever. And so I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't even, you could be somebody else and I wouldn't even know it. You're so elusive and mysterious that you could be like a space dog, a dog from outer space, and I'd never know it. So I used to call him a space dog. So he was, the representative of Maurice for Mariana. Maurice was Mariana's twin, so theoretically, he represented Mariana's twin flame relationship. Mariana overcame all of her stuff. That tumor grew. I feel like that was the physical manifestation and accumulation of the crap I went through, and it was yanked out. I was told that I'm done with something. I thought it was something else, but I think it's this. I think it's the Mariana thing. And even though the guides will tell me I'm done with something, I always kind of feel like soon. Or when they say now, they mean in a little bit. Maybe because we need time to process. But the very last thing that I had to process, even though I gave Michael up, I gave the twins up, I gave the fantasy up, I wasn't going to fly to Australia and wear my mom swim dress on the beach with, somebody who looked like he belonged on American Ninja. He had a really nice body. That was just stupid. So that fantasy is gone. I understand that, I get what that was. Oh, fuck. Michael again. Where was it? I guess that's it. I guess that's it about that all that stuff's done. The fantasy. Okay, no. So even though I gave all that stuff up, processing my shame about my body, I still used mostly Michael because I really did let Fairy Boy go. And it's just, I couldn't, I had the no touch zone. I didn't want him to touch me. I saw myself through his eyes. And I finally got to a point where, fuck it. If he doesn't like it, he can fuck off. Nobody gets to say anything or have any judgment about my body but me. If you don't like it, fuck you. And even though I know he wasn't even thinking that, that's how I learned. I still grew and evolved through him. Well, I'm done with that. I'm done. I have come to that place of acceptance. I still don't want him to touch me yet. So I feel like even though emotionally and energetically, I am ready for him. Or if not him, if he doesn't want to participate, I learned through experience that the guides can hook me up with somebody else for this intense experience that I expect to have. I do have the expectation of having a powerful romance with someone, and I think it's going to be him. It just makes the most sense, but if not somebody. But for the sake of my story, let's say it's him. So I really enjoyed my online romances. I really enjoy connecting through words. So it's my hope and my fantasy that happens while I am in the physical transformation. I don't feel like, I feel worthy enough for love, but I'm not ready for physical love. I don't want to be touched yet, and it's not because somebody else has a right to judge me, but I'm judging myself. And I know that once I feel beautiful and desirable, guess what will happen? I will be beautiful and desirable because that is the energy that I will exude. So I might not be able to attract that love quite yet, but I know I'm on my path, and for once in my life, I'm super excited to start this diet. And I know it's for weight loss, but it is for other things too. I'm tired of hurting. I already went through it all. So again, too, it's my goal doesn't have anything to do with somebody else says my goal ought to be. I'm not getting on the scale. I'm not using we call it a measuring tape. When I feel good, I'll feel good and I'll know it. I will never be a slave of the scale again. I say that, but I also said I'd never diet again. But the context has changed. So I don't know, context might change again for the scale or some form of measurement. I don't know. Okay, let me think. Do I have anything else that I want to add about this? I got Lisa Tabbert Fry coming soon. Theoretically, we set up a date. For her to come on my show. If you don't know her, I love her. She does freebies online all the time. And she's been giving me good messages too. Her and Sheila have both been giving me really good messages. What was I going to say about hers? I can't remember. Anyway, she'll be on soon, maybe the next video. How many minutes? I did pretty good. I think I will wrap this up. I know how I am. I might add something later, but I'm going to go ahead and stop right now. I hate to hang on. You know how I get. I don't know. Okay. That's it for now. I'm going to review and see what I come up with. Thanks, guys. All right, I reviewed and I did come up with a couple things that I forgot to share. They're quickies though, I think. But I mentioned the skirt in that video. Remember I said I recorded it before and didn't have record? Well, I did have record, but somehow I stopped record after 10 minutes. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so I said I got the shirt, now I needed the skirt. Well, I didn't tell the shirt story in this video, and I could have skipped it, but it matters to me. Remember, this is my diary. But I used to go shopping for clothes just to try to cheer myself up, and it was just a miserable experience. I remember one time I did get this okay shirt. The cut was right, but the pattern was grandma. And I went everywhere, so many stores, and I was like only okay, and it was overpriced, and trying on all those shitty shirts that looked horrible on me just brought me down. But I had processed enough of my circumstance and enough self-acceptance that I got excited for a shirt. I knew I was going to go out with my Joy Tribe. So I had this shirt hanging up in my closet, and that's why it was this one. And that's why I wanted to get the white skirt. So let me talk about the joy. So, okay, wait. So being excited about a shirt was such a far cry from feeling like the misery of the other one that I bought. Just like it's the best I could, it's just a shitty experience and just such a downer. Well, this one I was excited about, so that let me know that I had shifted some thoughts in, some neural pathways. And my girls, my Joy Tribe, they, I try to express myself, but I just know that I never can get it quite right to the extent of how much my outings with them have helped me. One of the messages we always get is to enjoy your now, enjoy what you have. I've been doing a lot of that. In fact, when I went on vacation last week to the Bay, I didn't even take one picture. I didn't post pictures. I didn't take pictures because I was so in the moment. I had such a good time with my family. I've been spending time with my family and just appreciating what I have. And again, even one of the things that I appreciate is fighting with my husband. I have a partner who has committed to allowing me to heal through him and, vice versa, him through me. So I even have gratitude for the fucked up shit. But my girls, that is not fucked up at all. I emulated those housewives, and maybe I'm on my way to being beautiful like them after all. Although I don't have to be that beautiful. They're so perfect, and I don't need that kind of perfection because I am perfect in my imperfection. I'm always perfect. I'm perfect right now. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. How about that? But being with them makes me feel, it's my now, and we go on these amazing adventures. We went for I call it my birthday. It's Carrie's birthday too. It wasn't a birthday trip. It just ended up being that way. But we went to a play. We went out to dinner in this fancy restaurant, and it was so beautiful. So the whole night was beautiful, and we had a cake, and my girls just make me feel like completely accepted. Now, I know that I'm the only one that places judgment on me, and I always feel like others are judging me. I know it's not true. Everybody else in the restaurant or wherever we're at is completely immersed in their own conversation, family, friends, whatever it is, their own experience. So for me to feel judged by strangers is stupid, but that's part of it. That's the energy that accumulates on you. But I don't feel this way with these girls. They know how insecure I am. They honor it. They laugh at my self-deprecating jokes rather than feeling like I'm fishing for compliments, which I'm not. They go ahead and let me make jokes at my own expense, because humor really is a good way to diffuse negative feelings. So, there was that one experience with the play, which was really cool. It was about a witch. And then a couple weeks ago, we went out to dinner again. And then we went and saw this medium. And none of us got messages. It was a pretty big gallery reading. I thought it'd be small and intimate. It was actually pretty big. And just being with them, being myself, wearing my new shirt and feeling good about it. My time with them has been essential to helping me learn to accept myself, to feeling valid, to appreciating just my time out, and, truly choosing to not dwell or focus on judgment that isn't even there. So that's really helped me. And look, when I did that playback, I don't know if it's the angle of my camera, but I noticed that you can see this chin a whole lot more than in my other videos. Maybe I have my camera higher so the angle's different, but I am allowing myself to be seen in the, with this little chub going on. You guys may not have even noticed, but we're so hypercritical of ourselves. So anyway, that was part one, why, I had to explain what the shirt and the skirt and all that meant, and the Joy Tribe, Carrie, Tiffany, and Sarah, what they mean to me, what those experiences mean to me. I love it. We are the real metaphysical moms of Houston, and we do exciting things together. I love it. I love it. Being in the company of them and fitting in so well the way the four of us do just really elevates my own perception of myself, because I have such a high regard for the three of them that if I'm like the fourth piece of the whole, I have to equally vibrate with them. And so by default, I'm the shit. I'm awesome, just like my girls are. So that's an interesting standard of measurement, but I'm going with it and I'm owning it. And the very last thing I forgot to mention is all this time, I always go and spy on Michael. I don't go on his wall, although I accidentally did one day. I hope my name didn't come up in suggestions. It might have. But I go and I spy on all the Michael Brookses. So I get all kinds of, pictures of parties and swimming trips, whatever it is. But the posts that he makes, some of them, it's almost like he's wooing me. And I don't think he is. I don't think he knows where I'm at in my existence. If anything, it's the higher selves. It's Mergello and Fairy Girl conspiring to get him to post what I need to see. And so many of his posts are exactly where I'm at. Feeling ugly and unattractive. And his posts will be like, there's other ways to be beautiful. And that's actually what inspired me to post that picture of me and Josh and Layla. I had my glasses on my head. I'm laying down, and because my head is like up because of the way I'm laying, my belly's puffed out. I got a blanket on top. I'm no makeup. I'm so unattractive in one sense, but in another sense, I'm most beautiful because I have these beautiful babies that I grew, and my energy is helping them. My knowledge, my experiences is helping them grow into beautiful human beings. So I can see the beauty in them, in who they are, not what they look like. And what helped give them that inner beauty was me and my inner beauty. So as I'm trying to come to terms with this acceptance and find other ways to love myself, such as the magnificent mothering I do, Michael is posting these posts about different kinds of beauty. And he even did some about age. Something was like, don't consider yourself growing older, consider yourself growing up. It was a little sappy. And the only real effect it had on me is yet that he's posting yet another meme that will apply to me in my current circumstance. He's much younger than I am. He doesn't have to worry about being old yet, but just because I say that doesn't mean it's not true. I think he just has compassion for other people. He's just like this natural healer. And I said he was weird. So maybe that's part of his weirdness is, I don't know. That's not even weird. Well, it's a little weird. If you don't have age issues, why are you posting about age? I don't think he has the issues. So he's just doing it for other people. And the reason that that's weird is because most people do what's right for them, things that they resonate with, not things that somebody else might resonate with, like me. So I don't know. Maybe I just don't think so. I really don't think that it is any kind of intentional message to me. But again, those higher selves might be conspiring, and maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, that was interesting to me. Okay, how many more minutes did I go? Another 10. All right, I'm going to put these together soon and try to release this. I'm still figuring out my new computer, so wish me luck. And again, apologize for the sound. I'm going to work on that too. I hope things are starting to pick up. I'm ready to go, go, go. All right, guys. Thanks again for allowing me to learn, grow, and evolve through sharing my stories with you. And again, even though I'm not very good about commenting back, I appreciate the comments you make to me. I like to learn what things impacted you, in which ways my story resonated with you, how you're going to take what I shared and apply it to your life. I'd really like to know these things, even though I'm a really shitty replier. All right, you guys, thanks again.